The story of Grand Theft Auto V begins many years before the game was even imagined. It starts with the creation of Rockstar Games, a company that would later change the gaming world forever. In the late 1990s, video games were becoming more popular around the world, but most games still followed simple ideas. Many games had straight stories and limited freedom for players. A small group of developers believed games could be bigger, more realistic, and give players the freedom to explore a living world. This belief became the foundation of Rockstar Games. The company was founded in 1998 by brothers Sam Houser and Dan Houser. They worked with their parent company, Take-Two Interactive, which helped publish and support their games. The Houser brothers were inspired by crime movies, urban stories, and open worlds where characters could move freely. Their dream was to build games that felt like interactive crime films, where players could decide what to do next. Before Rockstar existed, another small studio called DMA Design created the first Grand Theft Auto game in 1997. This early version of the game looked very different from modern games. It used a simple top-down view, where players looked at the city from above. Even though the graphics were simple, the idea of the game was unique. Players could drive cars, explore the city, and complete different missions in many ways. This freedom made the game stand out from other titles at the time. When Rockstar Games was formed, the team saw the potential of the Grand Theft Auto idea. They believed the series could become something much bigger. Instead of a simple game, they wanted to create a full open world where players could live inside the story. Their big breakthrough came in 2001 with the release of Grand Theft Auto 3. This game changed everything. It introduced a fully three-dimensional open world where players could walk, drive, and interact with a large city. For many players, it felt like stepping into a real urban environment. The success of Grand Theft Auto 3 made Rockstar famous around the world. Millions of people bought the game, and it quickly became one of the most talked about titles in gaming history. After that success, Rockstar continued to grow the series. They released Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and later Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. Each new game became larger and more detailed than the one before it. The stories became deeper, the worlds became bigger, and the characters became more memorable. Years later, Rockstar released Grand Theft Auto 4, which brought even more realism to the series. The game showed a modern city filled with life, complex characters, and emotional storytelling. It proved that video games could tell stories as powerful as movies. However, even with all this success, Rockstar developers believed they could still do more. Inside the company, a new idea was slowly forming. The team wanted to create the most ambitious open-world game ever made. They wanted a game with multiple main characters, a huge map, and a story that connected different lives together. This idea would later grow into Grand Theft Auto 5. At that moment, the developers knew they were preparing for their biggest project yet. The years of experience, the lessons from earlier games, and the creativity of the Rockstar team were all leading toward one goal. They wanted to build a game that would not only break records, but also change the gaming industry again. That dream would soon become the beginning of one of the most successful games in history. After the success of Grand Theft Auto 4, the developers at Rockstar Games began thinking about the future of the series. The game had already shown how powerful open-world games could be, but the team believed they could go even further. They wanted their next project to feel bigger, more alive, and more exciting than anything they had created before. At the center of this vision was a new game that would later become Grand Theft Auto 5. One of the first ideas the developers discussed was the story. In earlier games, the player usually followed the life of one main character. While those stories were interesting, the developers wanted to try something different. And they wanted to show different sides of crime and life in a big city. To do this, they decided to create 3 main characters instead of 1. Each character would have a different personality, background, and way of living. The first character was Michael DeSanta. He was a former bank robber who had made a deal with the government and now lived a rich but unhappy life. Even though he had money and a big house, he felt bored and trapped in his new lifestyle. The second character was Franklin Clinton. He was a young man trying to escape the dangerous streets and build a better future for himself. The third character was Trevor Phillips, a wild and unpredictable criminal who lived outside the rules of society. By creating these three characters, Rockstar hoped players would see the story from different perspectives. Another important idea was the world where the story would take place. Rockstar wanted a city that felt huge, detailed, and alive. The developers decided to return to Los Santos, a fictional city inspired by the real city of Los Angeles. This city had already appeared in earlier games, but Rockstar wanted to rebuild it completely with modern technology. Their goal was to create a massive open world filled with busy streets, tall buildings, deserts, mountains, beaches, and small towns. To make the game more exciting, Rockstar also planned new types of missions. Instead of only simple tasks, they wanted players to take part in large and complex robberies called heists. These missions would require planning, teamwork, and different roles for each character. For example, one character might drive the getaway car, while another controlled the situation inside a bank. This idea made the gameplay feel more like a crime movie where every move mattered. The developers also focused on giving players more freedom. They wanted players to explore the city, discover secrets, and create their own adventures. The world would include many activities such as racing, flying planes, diving underwater, and exploring hidden places across the map. This freedom was one of the most important parts of the Grand Theft Auto series. As the ideas continued to grow, the team realized they were working on something very special. Grand Theft Auto 5 was not just another sequel. It was a chance to create the biggest and most detailed world Rockstar had ever built. The vision was clear: a huge city, 3 unforgettable characters, and a story filled with action, crime, and unexpected moments. This bold idea would soon begin a long and challenging journey of development. After the main ideas for Grand Theft Auto 5 were created, the developers at Rockstar Games began the long process of building the game. This stage was one of the hardest and most important parts of the project. The company wanted the game world to feel real, detailed, and full of life. To achieve this goal, thousands of developers, artists, designers, and writers worked together for many years. The team started by designing the map of the game. The story would take place in Los Santos and the surrounding countryside. The developers studied the real city of Los Angeles very carefully. They looked at pictures, maps, and videos of the city. Some developers even traveled there to observe the streets, buildings, and neighborhoods. They wanted the game city to feel familiar, but also creative and unique. The result was one of the largest open worlds ever created in a video game at that time. The map included busy downtown areas with tall buildings, rich neighborhoods with large houses, crowded beaches, dusty deserts, mountains, forests, and small towns. Every area had its own look and feeling. When players explored the world, they could see different types of people, cars, and activities depending on where they were. At the same time, Rockstar developers worked on the characters and story. The 3 main characters, Michael DeSanta, Franklin Clinton, and Trevor Phillips, each needed their own personality and life story. The writers spent a long time creating conversations, missions, and dramatic moments that connected the 3 characters together. One of the most exciting features of the game was the ability for players to switch between these characters at almost any time. This made the story feel dynamic and alive. Technology also played a very important role during development. The game had to run smoothly on consoles like the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. These systems were powerful for their time, but creating such a large world pushed them to their limits. Developers spent many months improving the graphics, physics, and artificial intelligence so that cars, people, and animals would behave naturally. Another important part of the process was motion capture. Actors performed many of the character movements and actions while wearing special suits that recorded their movements. This technology helped make the characters feel more realistic. Voice actors also spent many hours recording dialogue so that conversations in the game would sound natural. Music and radio stations were also added to make the world feel alive. When players drove cars in the game, They could listen to different radio stations with music, talk shows, and funny advertisements. This small detail helped make the game world feel like a real city. As the years of development continued, the game slowly took shape. Every street, building, and mission was carefully designed. The developers knew they were creating something very ambitious. Their goal was simple but challenging: to build the most detailed and exciting open-world game players had ever experienced. After years of work, the world of Grand Theft Auto V was finally ready to be shown to the world. After many years of development, Rockstar Games was finally ready to release Grand Theft Auto V to the world. The excitement around the game had been growing for a long time. Every trailer, screenshot, and small piece of news made fans more curious. Players everywhere wanted to see the new world of Los Santos and experience the story of Michael DeSanta, Franklin Clinton, and Trevor Phillips. Before the release, Rockstar carefully planned a huge marketing campaign. They showed exciting trailers that displayed the large open world, fast cars, dramatic missions, and the unique system that allowed players to switch between the three characters. Gaming websites, magazines, and YouTube channels talked about the game every day. Soon, it became one of the most anticipated video games in history. The game was officially released in September 2013 for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. On the day of release, something incredible happened. Stores around the world were filled with long lines of players waiting to buy the game. Many people stayed awake until midnight just to be among the first to play it. For many fans, it felt like a special event rather than a normal game release. As soon as players started exploring the world, they quickly realized how large and detailed the game was. The city felt alive with traffic, pedestrians, shops, and random events happening everywhere. Players could drive across the city, climb mountains, fly planes, or explore the ocean. The ability to switch between three different characters during the story made the gameplay feel fresh and exciting. The reaction from critics and players was extremely positive. Many gaming websites gave the game very high scores. They praised the large open world, the storytelling, the graphics, and the freedom the game gave to players. Some reviewers even called it one of the greatest video games ever created. The success of the game was not only about praise from critics. The sales numbers were even more shocking. Within the first 24 hours, Grand Theft Auto V made hundreds of millions of dollars. In just 3 days, the game earned more than $1 billion in sales. This was faster than many blockbuster movies and other entertainment products. It quickly became one of the fastest-selling entertainment products in history. This success showed how powerful the Grand Theft Auto series had become. Years of creative work, risky ideas, and detailed development had paid off. Rockstar had achieved something that very few game companies had done before. However, the story of Grand Theft Auto V was far from over. The single-player story had amazed players, but Rockstar had another major feature waiting to be released. This feature would allow millions of players around the world to enter the same world together and create their own stories. That next step would soon become known as Grand Theft Auto Online, and it would help keep the game alive for many years. After the successful release of Grand Theft Auto V, the developers at Rockstar Games were not finished with their plans. While millions of players were enjoying the single-player story, Rockstar was preparing another major part of the game that would change its future. This new mode was called Grand Theft Auto Online. It allowed players from around the world to enter the same world and play together through the internet. When Grand Theft Auto Online first launched in October 2013, players were excited to explore the city of Los Santos with their friends. Instead of following the story of characters like Michael DeSanta, Franklin Clinton, and Trevor Phillips, players could create their own custom character. This character would start as a small-time criminal trying to earn money and reputation in the city. In the beginning, players could take part in simple activities such as racing cars, completing missions, robbing stores, and working together with other players. They could also buy apartments, cars, clothes, and weapons. These features gave players a feeling of building their own life inside the game world. Even though the early days of the online mode had some technical problems, Rockstar continued to improve it over time. What made Grand Theft Auto Online special was how it continued to grow. Instead of leaving the game the same after release, Rockstar started adding many updates. New missions, vehicles, weapons, and activities were introduced regularly. One of the most popular updates added large heist missions. These missions required groups of players to plan and work together to complete big robberies. Each player had a role, such as driving the escape vehicle or breaking into secure buildings. These missions were exciting because success depended on teamwork. Rockstar also added many new businesses that players could run inside the game. Players could become nightclub owners, smugglers, motorcycle club leaders, or powerful crime bosses. These activities gave players new ways to earn money and grow their criminal empire. Because of these constant updates, the online world always felt fresh and full of new things to do. Another reason for the success of Grand Theft Auto Online was the strong community of players. Millions of people spent hours exploring the city, completing challenges, and creating funny or surprising moments. Some players focused on racing, others enjoyed missions, and some simply explored the huge map together. This variety made the game appealing to many different types of players. As the years passed, the online mode became one of the biggest parts of the entire Grand Theft Auto experience. Even people who had already finished the main story continued playing the game because of the online content. The updates kept bringing players back again and again. Because of this ongoing support, Grand Theft Auto 5 stayed popular for many years after its release. Instead of fading away like many other games, it continued to grow stronger. The online world turned the game into a long-lasting platform where new stories and adventures could happen every day. This powerful online system would play a huge role in turning the game into one of the most successful video games ever created. After years of success, Grand Theft Auto 5 became one of the most important and successful games in the history of video games. What started as a bold idea inside Rockstar Games turned into a global phenomenon that reached millions of players around the world. The game did not just succeed for a few months after release. Instead, it continued to grow and remain popular for many years. One of the biggest reasons for its success was the massive number of copies sold. Soon after its release in 2013, the game broke many sales records. Within the first few days, it had already earned more than $1 billion. This achievement made it one of the fastest-selling entertainment products ever created, even compared to major Hollywood movies. Over time, the game continued selling millions of copies on different platforms. Rockstar later released improved versions of the game for newer consoles such as the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. These versions had better graphics, smoother gameplay, and new features that made the game feel even more realistic. Later, the game was also released on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, allowing a new generation of players to experience the world of Los Santos. Another reason for the long-lasting success of the game was the continued popularity of Grand Theft Auto Online. Rockstar kept updating the online world with new missions, businesses, vehicles, and adventures. These updates helped keep the community active and excited. Players could continue building their criminal empires, racing cars, planning heists, and exploring the city together. The game also had a huge cultural impact. Many players praised the detailed open world, the interesting characters, and the freedom the game offered. The stories of Michael DeSanta, Franklin Clinton, and Trevor Phillips became some of the most memorable characters in modern gaming. Their different personalities made the story exciting and unpredictable. Because of this success, Grand Theft Auto 5 became one of the best-selling video games of all time. The game showed that a well-made open world with strong storytelling could keep players interested for many years. It also proved that video games could become as powerful and profitable as movies and other forms of entertainment. Today, even many years after its first release, millions of people still play the game. New players continue discovering the huge city of Los Santos and all the adventures it offers. Meanwhile, fans around the world continue waiting for the next chapter in the series. The story behind Grand Theft Auto 5 is a story of creativity, ambition, and years of hard work. From the early dreams of Rockstar developers to the global success that followed, the game became a symbol of what the gaming industry can achieve. And its billion-dollar success is not just about money. It is about how one game managed to capture the imagination of players all around the world.